Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to another one of my Epic 7 first impression videos for you guys today. And today we're going to be talking about the unit on your screen here, Edward Elric. Now his animations look sick. He is from the Full Metal Alchemist collab that is going to be running on the 25th of August until mid-September. And let's just say guys, this unit looks pretty insane. You can see on your screen here, he is a fire warrior. You know, his design looks very similar to the anime, surprise, surprise, and his animations are so sick. This is what he looks like with his expressions you can get from friendship level 10 and stuff like that. Very similar to the animation if you guys are big fans. As you saw on the lobby screen, he looks pretty cool there as well. And let's get into the important stuff. Let's talk about how good will he be. So collab units, guys, usually you have at least one unit, sometimes even two units from the collab that are going to be super OP on release, right? For instance, we had the ReZero collab with Rem and Amelia. Both units were very powerful, still are very powerful. We had the Slime collab, Rimuru, super OP on release. Milim is still very good, right? Etc. So we can expect that Edward or Roy will be very strong, and it looks like that they're both going to be very powerful. Now you can see Edward here is a fire warrior, like I said, and his imprints, guys, he has effect resist for his team. I don't think you'll be using that that much, but he does have crit chance for himself, which is the best imprint in the game besides like speed imprint for your team, because crit chance is one of the stats which is harder to get, and by having that imprint concentration of crit chance, it's going to make him a lot easier to gear, because you're going to see he is going to be pretty hard to gear. But also, it is a way of Smilegate to make money, because it is a collab banner, so they're expecting people to wail on the banners and try to get that SSS Edward Elric to get that maximum value. If you're a super late game legend player in World Arena or RTA, you're probably going to wail on this banner and get his SSS imprint, because he's going to look very strong, and the imprint will just make him so much stronger. You can see at the bottom here, it says he has very balanced stats. Yeah, not true. His attack is pretty average for a warrior. His health is pretty average, a little bit above average, but his speed is insane, guys. Like 117 speed on a warrior is not balanced. It is definitely one of the faster warriors in the game, and you're going to see that being fast with his kit is going to be insane. So let's look at his skills real quick. Let's start with his S2. So his S2, guys, it's going to be basically a counter attack, kind of similar to Rimuru's S2. You're going to see this unit has some similarities to Rimuru, but his S2 is kind of the opposite. It's after he's attacked. When he himself has a debuff, he will dispel one debuff from himself and activate Rise. This can activate once every turn that he takes. Now, Rise is an AoE attack that will dispel one buff and inflict a random debuff for 2 turns. So usually when you have a counterattack that debuffs, it's usually a 1-turn debuff, but this one is 2 turns, and this can proc every single turn, and you can just keep stacking random debuffs. It gets really annoying, and you're going to see that this damage will scale with his max HP. So just by this, you can tell he's going to be sort of like a bruiser unit that you're going to want to build a lot of HP on, and he can very well disrupt the enemy team very easily, because the random debuffs he can inflict are very annoying. One of the most annoying debuffs in the game, guys, is decreased attack, and I guess decreased hit chance as well. And just having both of these on this skill is just insane. If you can proc one of them on the first turn, one of them on the second turn, you're going to be very annoyed. You also have Provoke, Silence, and Restrict, which are very decent as well. Honestly, I think Restrict is probably the least useful of these, because it's only good in certain scenarios, but the other 4 are just going to be so annoying when you get hit by it. You can see this is the damage and the activation. So you got hit with an attack, and now just AoE counter, right? So nothing too special. The animation, isn't anything crazy, but it looks like it's going to be very good against teams that have a lot of debuffs, right? As you saw with like Peyra and stuff like that. And even against Cleave, he can inflict those debuffs, which will very heavily hinder Cleave teams. Now we have his S3. Now his S3, guys, on paper looks insane. The multipliers for this is very similar to like APOC Ravi's. So his S3 is going to hit really hard. So the way his S3 works, guys, it is a single target attack that will CR push him by 50%. This is insane. It's on a 5-turn cooldown, and you're going to see that when the enemy's not an elite or a boss monster. So basically in PvP, you ignore damage sharing effects. So SSB's S2 passive will get ignored, Aureus gets ignored, stuff like that. And this damage dealt will increase proportional to the caster's max HP. So yes, you want to build him very heavily on the HP side with crit damage and crit chance. And the damage of the skill increases every time you use it up to 3 times. And you can soul burn this for only 10 souls and reduce the cooldown by 2 turns to 3 turns. So it works very similarly to Last Rider Krau's S3, except it is single target, and this actually CR pushes you by 50%. He's going to cycle so fast, and because you're going to build him on a lot of HP and very bulky, you're actually going to survive long enough to get the maximum value out of this at 3 stacks. And the damage on this is crazy. You're going to have to see it in action when it comes out. But looking at the numbers, the stats and the multipliers were released for this skill. It looks very similar to APOC Ravi's damage, and this one you don't really have to hold on to it, right? You just spam it with souls, and 10 souls you can easily get within 3 turns. So you're basically going to be soul bring this on cooldown. So yeah, let's look at the animation real quick, and look also at the damage. He has attack buff, guys, from his team, so keep that in mind. But he's attacking into Rebellion here, and this does 9k. Now I'm pretty sure this is the first stack, right? Given the fact that you know, actually might be the second stack. It's either first or second stack, to be honest. I think it's the first stack because if you saw very closely here, when he does get that buff, I'll show you our difference. It doesn't have ×2 or ×3, so I think this is the first stack that he got. So that was without any buffs to it, but that was with attack buff. So keep in mind, you know, that 9k damage with attack buff without stacking it up, that seems pretty good. If you stack it up, it'll do about, like, I don't know, I forget how much it was. It's like 16 or 17k damage if you multiply it from the video. So pretty insane. Now we have his S1, guys. His S1 is a single target attack that will give him a barrier. Now the damage you deal with this and that barrier will also scale with your max HP. Makes it very, very easy for him to sustain through battles. He's already very innately tanky because you're stacking him on HP, but every turn you're getting a barrier basically. Now the barrier, as you can see here, is not that thick. I think it's about 10% of his HP if I'm not mistaken, so nothing too crazy, but it will add up over time, and you definitely want him to last very long in fights because of the fact that his S3 is stacking, and you do want to spam that on cooldown. So unit, guys, looks pretty crazy. He's going to be a very strong threat in the meta. He's a fire unit, so he's going to be very good into earth units, obviously, and even into certain fire units will be very good. Looks like he can deal with Hwayoungs pretty well because his S3 does so much damage, and also because he has a lot of debuffs that can cripple Hwayoung after she S3s. Now we have his artifact, guys, Full Metal's Auto Mail. So this is a flat crit chance buff, and you're going to see there's a secondary effect after an extra attack, so this will work on his S2, which has a 1-turn cooldown, keep in mind. He will increase his crit hit damage by 8% and speed by 8%. So this stacks up to 4 times, guys. So this goes to a 32% crit hit damage buff and a speed buff. That is insane. Like any warrior with an extra attack, this is insane. Like Alencia will use this very well. Edward Elric obviously will use this very, very well. Shu will also use this very well. Like this artifact, like if you're a whale, I would recommend pulling like as many copies as you can and maximum break as many as you can because this looks crazy on so many units. It's the crit hit damage is very nice, but the speed is the most important thing. 32% speed buff is so broken. Why is that a thing? If you're at 200 speed, which is very, very easily achievable for warriors, right? Like Alencia, Shu, even Edward will definitely want to be at least 200 speed. If you get this max stacked, which is very easy to do, you'll be getting pretty much 60 plus speed from this. That's crazy. And not to even mention that crit hit damage, and not to even mention that critical hit chance. So yeah, most broken artifact for warriors for sure that I've ever seen. Probably the most broken artifact in the game, actually. I don't know what Smilegate was thinking with this, but this is crazy. So yeah, unit, guys, looks insane. Definitely a must pull. You definitely want to get Edward Elric. He looks pretty crazy. Very strong single target damage dealer with a lot of debuffs to annoy the enemy, which is very, very powerful. Those debuffs from his S2, man, they're so annoying. Like, they're all so annoying to deal with. And he looks pretty decent into cleave because of these debuffs, right? And we also have his artifact. You have to buy this. Like, I'm about to wail on this banner for this artifact. This is so crazy. And, you know, just having this at plus 15 is going to be so different from having this at plus 30 because that speed is so insane. So yeah, that being said, guys, you know, that's pretty much it for what I think about Edward so far. I think he's gonna be a very strong meta unit for sure. He's definitely gonna be OP and picked a lot, like no doubt about it. His kit looks insane, and his artifact looks even better, which is saying a lot because Edward does look insane himself. I think this artifact will be, you know, pretty broken though. So that's pretty much it about what I think about Edward, guys. I'll be talking about the other units in future videos, but definitely when Edward comes out, guys, just pull him and buy his artifact. He is crazy. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.